Here.
Tom?
Here.
Nancy? Yes. Joey?
Here.
Me. The following are on file for consideration of the City of Trinidad Tourism Board, so Cheryl's up and she's gonna explain to us.
So, did you all receive my letter? Did you give them the letter already? Okay, good.
Yes. Probably the one question I have just for her is the 2019 actual on the 2020 balance sheet that we just got for the lodging tax. That's just what we took in April. That doesn't include what happened in July, so that's just one quarter. Is that
Right,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay.
Right, we don't receive that income until July, and I had printed this in
Yeah,
June.
no, that's good. And then the next one won't come till September.
October.
October.
Yeah. Just wanna get in there. There we go. So, on the spreadsheet you have, I've filled in what we anticipate collecting next year, which is $320,000. And then I filled in the Welcome Center wages and fringe, and then after that, it leaves you, let's see. So 211,000 for all of you to allocate. There's also the amount available that's in reserve of 156,000. That's for one-time expenses. I would never recommend using that for operating. So if there's some type of purchase that you had in the back of your mind, you have 156,000, and then again, I recommend only using half of that, because you need some of that for a rainy day.
So just to clarify that, that's $156,000 that is not in our budget, that's from years that we've saved, is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So that's not,
It's in
we have
reserve.
more than $156,000, that's what the amount in reserve. So that,
The 84,275, that doesn't reflect if the city would give us 50,000 from the marijuana to run the Welcome Center. That would be coming out of our budget of the 320, right?
That's right. The
Okay.
amount budgeted here is not marijuana money.
Okay.
Right.
So,
And we've gotten that money before,
that's
each year?
Last year.
That's what we got for last year.
Where's it at on the, like
No,
the other?
you've never received marijuana money to run the Welcome Center.
we didn't, we got 50,000 from the city,
City.
was it marijuana
Was-
money?
it
It was
Right.
marijuana money, was it?
No, you didn't receive 50,000 from the city. It's just been,
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
how,
Yeah.
For 2 years, it was actually passed by
And I
city
think-
council to fund, Welcome Center staff at $50,000 when they created.
When
did that
coordinate.
when the
Yeah,
state
it's been on every report.
It was on our report.
when the state
Yeah, that was
when the
50,000.
state wasn't gonna fund it, then it was given to us as the city's portion to run the Welcome Center.
And
Not
that was
exactly.
for that 50,000 was for the event coordinator.
Event coordinator position.
there you go. There it
Yeah.
is.
So
Sorry.
it was income from general fund.
Yeah, but it's still went into.
So it still went into part of the.
I understand. I apologize.
Right.
So what's happening right now
I'm
is.
sorry, I didn't phrase it.
Yeah,
to the
I
coordinator.
didn't even think about that. So that is marijuana, you're correct. And it is $50,000, and what we've done is we've allocated Marty's salary, a portion to marijuana and then a portion to Welcome Center.
Right.
And I actually broke that down, I think it's like 76% is hitting marijuana, and then the other 23% is coming out of tourism.
Is that the 45,000? Or,
What was
that you,
that?
which shows for 2020 is 45,000 wages regular.
Right, so
So-
that includes Marty and Jeff's salary, but the bigger portion of Marty's salary is sitting in general fund.
Okay, so the
So do we-
45,000 is the how many percent that we pay, 20
I
some?
think it's
24%?
Yeah.
Or 23?
So do you know if this will be given to us for the 2020?
It
or-
has
Yes.
been budgeted
It
that
has
way,
been
yes.
budgeted that way.
Would that be added in our revenue line then item? Would we have another $50,000 in our tourism fund revenue?
That should bring it up to 370,
Yeah,
if you add that line item.
well, one place or
No.
the other.
No,
No.
hang on.
It goes into the welcome center portion, I would guess.
Well, it should be in the revenue portion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it should be part of the revenue.
It was previously listed as transfers in from general fund at $50,000 in the 2019 budget. So if you look on the history and fund balance sheet, the long one,
It'll show
it
the,
shows up as transfers in from general fund at $50,000.
But my question is it gonna be,
Okay.
is it,
We don't transfer any money. So what happens is I take Marty's salary, or payroll takes Marty's salary, and 76% posts in the general fund, and 24% posts in tourism. So you're only paying 20-some
Right.
percent of her salary.
right,
So, and then also Jeff's entire salary is, posting in tourism.
So that 45,000 is only 24% of those two?
24% of
those
hers,
two, and
plus Jeff's is at 100%.
So all these ones under visitor welcome center department's 24% to make that 84,000.
I'm saying that again?
So the line item right here says, or 80,775, that's only 24% of, there can't be, what that means it'd be over 200,000. If it's 24%,
Right.
then we're paying out,
80,000.
well, it says 80,000,
For
2019 says
projected.
80,775. If we're paying 24% of that, it's not coming out correct.
I think what they're paying for is they're saying that $43,000 minus Jeff's portion, which is probably somewhere around 30,000, the extra 13 is 24% of Marty's, so Marty must make with taxes and benefits somewhere around 50, is that correct?
50,000 a year?
Well, like 40 plus taxes and benefits, it's 15%.
know.
Well, taxes and benefits, if you're making 35, it's 50,000 to the city's cost, workers' comp and taxes and
With,
benefits.
between comp and insurance
You know.
and everything else like that.
If that's the way it is.
Well, Cheryl, in the 2019 projected, there's 0 transferring from general
Right.
fund.
We won't
So-
transfer it in.
right, correct.
We just allocate.
Correct,
Mhm.
but, so when it's allocated, that revenue balance will increase. But then when we start subtracting the wages from that, is there a way that
So
those
it'll never-
wages can be divided between Marty and Jeff, so we know,
To separate.
separate them?
Yeah, in the budget, they are separated.
Okay.
So let's see. Okay, so here we go, here, 26%. The center manager, 26%, the salary is 12,377.
That's Jeff?
That's, Marty.
Marty's portion,
Yes,
okay.
that's
I was
20.
close at 13,000.
And then the assistant manager is 31,000.
Okay.
But that was last year, there could be cost of living increase this year,
Well,
we don't
that's what I
know,
was
but
worried
we're just
about.
guesstimating right there
Right,
for 20.
yeah.
So you'll see how we budgeted in 2019, 43,982. I've given it a little bit of cushion of $45,000 in case there is that cost of living.
Say that again, 31,000 is what?
Jeff's,
His total salary,
Mhm.
and we pay the total salary.
that's right.
Okay, so the city doesn't participate in that at
No.
all.
So this is just what I'm referring to.
Okay. Okay.
I apologize, I didn't know we were gonna go down this
Yeah.
road.
That's okay, so
So-
just, it's new to us this year too, so we're just trying to figure this all out.
But that money from the city is allocated to that part of the welcome center.
Okay, so 26%, Marty's
Right.
sitting right there in tourism at 26%, and then the rest of her salary is coming out of the general fund at
Okay.
74%. Mm-hmm.
How would it balance out if it don't show in the general fund, you know, and projected? I mean, there's no way it'll budget out, right?
So if we put,
Even if you allocate it, cause it's not showing up on no line item as far as money, cause it's
From-
zero. So if you,
Yeah.
if our,
No,
if
no
our
line
fund is
item is
three,
part of ours.
yeah, if ours is at 320, and then even if we're transferring, you know, if we're paying 26%, we're not gonna show that 50,000 nowhere in here.
no, because it's in the general
It's in the
fund.
general fund.
All
So-
this is showing the 13,000
Right, if- okay,
that we're given out of our budget.
Let's say we put 100% of Marty in that budget, then
it
we would
show
have to
up.
transfer the money in for marijuana. But we don't need to do that because we're just allocating instead.
I get it.
So are we using any money in general fund besides Marty and the Welcome Center? In tourism?
No.
So we don't need to show it then?
Well, I think we should show it when we actually find out what they're allocating. That makes sense to me.
So it's shown on her wage sheet, and then that dollar amount, the very bottom figure, is carried forward to your budgets.
The 61,662?
61, well, that includes the trolley,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that includes trolley. So when we go back over here, we see the trolley, the 17,000 plus 43,000 should be the 61,000. Because Tara had asked me to split out Welcome Center and trolley.
Cause what I'd like to see is like, what does the Welcome Center actually cost us? I mean, that's really what I'd like to see. I mean, I'd like to see the total amount. I mean, it's kinda hard. I mean,
Well,
what's the total amount that they get, you know, for the budget?
that's the
So-
84,275.
That's to run.
Well,
That's
but-
to run the
but
welcome
that's,
center.
that's only,
No, that's
that's
only
not
20 that's only
4% margin,
23%.
so you'd have to add 35 about onto there or something like
No,
that, 30.
the way it's going is, if it's if we're paying the 24%, this is only 24% of this money.
That's all
The
we're obligated to
43,000.
pay.
So what's the total line item? If that's 24, then it's 66.
But it's
Or no,
not,
it's
it's
80 it's 76.
It's about
10% of
30,000 more,
43.
whichever
Yeah.
way you wanna do it, it's about $30,000 more, whichever way you wanna
So
do it.
what I'm trying to figure is like, to run the Welcome Center, we're looking, what, about 130, 140,000 a year?
110, probably 120.
Right, so so it would be 84,000, or we're projected at 80,000, plus the remainder of Marty's salary, give or take 30,000. That would be what it'd be to run it.
About 110,000. And we're not getting no money from the state at all?
No.
No more, we lost that.
Yes.
That money.
How much were we getting from the state? Do you
About
know?
60 to 70,000,
And when was the last time it was collected?
I think in 2016.
Oh, geez.
So where are the discussions with council on the Welcome Center?
We really haven't had any in-depth discussion. The last time any discussion was had was when we met that time here, when we had that work session. That was the last discussion we had. You're aware as to what the discussion was about then, so, we just have to, I know that the big thing is hopefully trying to get some money for the 2021 budget from the state. I don't know if that'll happen or not. We just have to wait till the budget comes out and see where it lands, because, money is tight across the board for funding.
So, what, I don't even know how to ask this. I think I did ask this the last meeting. How much does the city council value the Welcome Center?
Well, we do value the Welcome Center. We feel like it's necessary, because what
Right.
the Welcome Center does is they try to promote, they've been doing, is promoting business back into town.
Right.
So that's, we realize that it's needed.
So the negotiations haven't really begun yet, or the discussions?
No.
So do you think that we should change the Welcome Center more to Trinidad based? Welcome Center more than state based, since we're not getting no funding from the state? I mean, I think that we should put more city stuff in there, you know, promoting the city of Trinidad, we're basically paying for it for the last 3 years. We should actually put more of our own town in there, you know, to promote more of our own
The
town.
Trinidad Welcome Center.
Yeah, Trinidad Welcome Center.
Is that the way the state has it set up? Is it, even
The
if it's
state-
not, even if it's not funded, no money's by the state, that we go by their curriculum of
There is a
running this?
memorandum of agreement that has been signed with the state.
That
And-
says
and
what?
whether-
Continue operating as,
whether-
under the guidelines of the Colorado Tourism Office.
Whether we're funded or not.
Right.
Why would we sign that without
Yeah, why
figuring
would we?
out why? I mean, it sounds like, you know, there's no negotiation. If you sign something, you don't negotiate, you can't negotiate because you've already signed it.
I think the idea behind when Greg decided to sign the MOA was because, if it was operated as a state welcome center, continuing to operate as a state welcome center, then we would not be backing out for any future funding.
I think the state generally, when they take funding away, it's hard to get it back.
Well, they took the funding away because of, staffing issues that had taken place
Right.
back in 2016.
Right.
And so having those issues resolved, the hope was that we could continue to be a state welcome center and be funded.
I
They still
understand that, but
advertise us as a welcome center and everything like
Yes.
that?
We operate as a Colorado Welcome Center and have all the benefits and fringes and everything that goes along with every other welcome center.
How much room is designated for the city of Trinidad in the building? Is there a certain portion that, goes to the city or?
Well, I showed you guys that whole entire corner in the front, as soon as you walk in that front door,
Uh-huh.
it's Trinidad.
It's this.
Right there, it's the first section that is available, and I have everything that I could possibly imagine that's available in Trinidad
You
in that
have on
corner.
that, on that.
You guys
I mean,
might
I-
wanna try to get back to the budget discussion.
Yeah, we need to
So-
discuss this at another time.
So the bottom of this page, Cheryl, the tourism fund page that we received in 2020, is there, no, I don't see a final line of,
It might have cut off when we marched
Yeah.
it.
okay. So I was just, cause it seemed to be like about $30,000, $33,000 difference. I was just trying to figure out where that money was.
So we're missing a page, aren't we?
Or a line,
I don't know, that disconnects sometimes.
yeah. Oh, that's good, Cheryl, maybe I'm right.
Yeah, good.
That's so much easier.
Okay, can it tell me if it's too small, too big? Oh, this is the wrong one too. I want the tourism worksheet. So I'm gonna hide, these columns. I don't think, we can come back if you wanna see them. Okay, is that just big enough? Can everybody see that? Alright. So here's your totals, it just cut off.
Okay.
And then revenue collected through today, I still haven't put, I don't think I put that in, because again. $168,000.
Is what's.
That's through June,
Okay, through
June.
June, is this what was paid then in July?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good stat to know.
Mhm.
So we are on track, I was concerned, I thought it was gonna be
Actually,
close.
they're kinda short. Second quarter was short.
Yeah, cause the I-25 corridor is short right now, that's why I was worried about it, that's why I was wanting that number.
Sure, how much is it short from
Let's
the
see.
previous time last year?
I don't know if that's on my drive.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think it's on Burton's drive. I can't get to the drives.
It's not that much short, but it's not a huge increase is what the problem is, it might be a little short,
Maybe
yeah.
10,000.
Yeah, not much, it's just that there's not been a big increase this year on hotels in the I-25 corridor, and it's been a reflection of the hotels in Trinidad too. Because they built 7 new hotels between here and Denver, and they have 2 more going up in Colorado Springs right now.
Oh, I might be here.
So it's not bothered occupancy much, what it has driven is the rate to go down so that we still capture all the people stopping in Trinidad. Cause our occupancy is the same or greater than last year, but everybody's kind of holding their rate and going a few dollars less because of how many hotels they have.
I guess I can't see it, I don't know why. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, you can see in 2018, you collected 325,000. We budgeted 300 because I think the year before we collected 302,000. So I kind of kept it a little flat. Because we collected 325, I'm projecting 320. I always just be
I
very
really like
conservative.
that you did that, I would do the same thing.
Just in case. We don't know that the sales of the hotels are going to be through the roof as always. And then, and then again, like I told you, I built in the salary and fringe for Welcome Center. Pretty much all of the costs that I'm projecting for Welcome Center based on historical costs, just kind of averaging and carrying things over. So what that does is it leaves open the tourism portion, which is green, and I think I had given you the dollar amounts of what's available to spend for the year, and those are the items that you need to fill in.
Right, and the huge increase that I saw was in building and leasing at only 6 months mark, it's already at 28,000, what does that derive from?
Something had to be repaired there, what was it?
The lighting.
The lighting was repaired. So it was about $4,000 worth of work. And when I was projecting, I just kind of carried that forward. We could bump that back down to 10. Don't know if there's gonna be any other issues there.
The lighting on the trolley?
No, the lighting on the Welcome Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was unanticipated costs. Are there any other questions? We can
No,
Go down to the
line
bottom
up.
so
Yeah, I
I can see
wanna
that
see the
figure.
bottom line too.
Yeah.
So you're working with 211, give or take the portion that you might want to use of reserves.
So, we have $211,000 plus the reserves of 168?
150, yeah, 156.
Okay.
But again, though, that should be used for one-time expenses. We should never build that into operating.
Okay. And then, the outside contract services, you came up with at 35, because that's what we're running so far this year, what Marty told you. or
Right,
something.
but I think you've added a couple things in the past couple of weeks, haven't you?
Okay, yeah, gotcha, yeah.
We had,
is the contract, is the 12.5 and 12.
There was the automobiles, that came out of advertising, right?
Oh, the automobiles. And then just, oh, right, that was a
Does
budget.
this Does this reflect yet the, reappropriation of those?
It does not,
Not
but
yet.
I think when I highlighted it yellow, I took that into account.
Okay.
Yeah, that you wanted to move money around.
Right, there was $30,000 moved into 3 different line items, and it was taken out of outside contract services. I believe there was 5,000 put into training, travel and mileage, 5,000 additional put into local festival fundings.
Too hard to see. Okay, so where we are right now for, I'm sorry, they're hard to see this screen. Okay, outside contract services, you've spent 23,000 and it looks like you have $400 encumbered. So that's where you are through whatever today is, September 17th. So technically at that point, what I normally do is take that number, divide by however many months, times 12, and just project it 35. Or whatever that means.
So if anybody has any comments about our budget for this year, this is what city council would have if anybody wants to redo anything. And there may be a few things that, but it's so small that I don't even know if it's worth it, to, you know, to assess.
You can see the actual for outside contract services in 17 was 65,000, actual in 18 was 35,000.
Yeah.
So these two columns are your actuals from 17 and 18. If that helps you decide where you want to go.
No, it looks pretty, I mean, we might move dollars around, but we always move dollars around. We don't really know where we're gonna end up, so it's probably pretty close.
I
Do you
mean,
want me to carry them over? So 19 carry over 65,000 to 20?
this is a request for next year, right, the budget?
Mhm.
I think we should up our, I mean, if we're trying to bring more, things at Trinidad, we should automatically move our money from outside contracts to grants.
Mhm.
Don't you think we should, if we're trying to up those,
Sure, let me see that.
I mean, cause we're at
last figure on-
65,000, but I think we changed it though, didn't we, Marty? That 65,000 a couple meetings ago we were moving money out of that, or?
Right, that's what I was just discussing. with
Yeah.
Sharon,
That
was
line-
reappropriation.
That line item under
I mean,
building
should we
leases
move
and
mine to-
storage, I'm trying to,
back?
I'm getting you someone here. We're, building lease and storage right underneath it, that final line, it says 21, is that 21 that's not been appropriated, that we could appropriate, the 21,000, right in that, right there, okay, over to your left,
Here?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what we're
21.
projecting to spend through
That's
the rest of the
21.
year.
Oh, for the rest of the.
So
trolley.
these are actually
Yeah,
pretty good, hard budgeted costs. These are your trolley drivers. I've budgeted for you for the 2020. Trolley drivers, the cost of rent or storing the trolley, and then fuel. But that was a question, when is the trolley stopping?
It stopped, it goes from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Okay.
Do you know if we used the same amount of fuel as we did last year, or
You
because
can
of the
see
extended,
that right here.
the extended,
So actual
Fuel. So you used $1,200 in 17, $3,400 in 18, and then we got the trolley mid-July of 17.
I'm still off 30,000, I'm trying to figure out why. So we have 300 minus 80 minus 176 minus 21, I still show a balance of 30,000. I'm trying to figure out why.
Due or owing?
That we have extra. So if you take 176 and 21 and 80, that's 277,000, and we have projected budget 300,000. So there's still 23,000 or so that's, I don't know where it's at.
You're saying you have $320,000 to allocate, less the costs that I filled in, so that gets you to 211 available.
So, let's see, we have, if we spend 84, we don't have, and we spend 176, and we spend 22, 24, 16, 17, 18, I'm still coming up with 282, not 300, or 320. Let me show you, Cheryl, just to see if I, because I just wanted to see what I'm doing here. So, if like on this line item, I take 80,000, and I take 176,000, and I take 21,000, it adds up to 277,000.
So that's what you're projected to spend this year, so you would take that number less those, what's left over goes into reserves.
Okay, so right now then we would have about 20, currently going on our budget, we would have about another 23 going into our reserves that we haven't spent this year.
Right.
That's just what I wanted to make a point of, so
Plus
that we know
23.
in our heads, plus, right?
Right. So it's just gonna be,
Yeah, so there's an extra 20,000.
You can get around 80, 90.
Right, so 90 is more. So what I think what the group is saying that they think is to put more money into the local festival funding by 20,000.
What do you guys, I mean,
What do you guys think?
I mean, this isn't the only work session.
No.
Right,
No.
well, no, but we have to
This
just
is
do
just
one
for
this
city council
City
budget.
council.
Right, well,
We can move it in
We
later.
can move it
Yeah,
in
We
later.
can move it in later.
I know, I think you've done a great job, I just
Yeah.
making sure everybody understands
We don't need to
what,
move it
where
now,
our money
we can move it in
situation is.
later.
Right.
So we don't have to take out the 23, we can take a portion of that and move it over into.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we can move
we
it
still
later.
have that money
And then the rest would
with
go
that
into
one,
reserve.
yeah.
I think we just need to keep building on the reserve.
I agree.
And then just
Build
take
on the
a
reserve.
portion.
So, but what Cheryl said is a good point, we have to remember, and we did this with the trolley, so about 160,000 we have in reserve right now.
yeah.
But we can't, that has to be on one-shot deals, if we decide we're gonna spend 40 or 50 of it, we can't encumber ourselves into that money by doing something that has.
That would be continuous
Right,
expense,
yeah.
it's a one-time,
One-time
one
shot.
shot.
Well, see, and I think
We
that's why
did.
you move that 23 to the end of the year to,
reserve.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
To reserve or to?
not to reserve, I think to, cause you don't
To
wanna.
the budget.
To the
So,
budget, I think, cause like, if you have 154,000 or 100, what is it?
I say we just,
56.
I say we just take a portion of that
156.
and a
Instead-
portion of that, put it in the budget and the other one, put it in reserve, just.
Put
that's-
5,000 reserve and spend the rest.
Oh, I'd say more.
yeah, I would keep at least half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's something we can move around later, at least we know it's there.
Because if we have
Cheryl, is that right?
So half of 156 would be, what, 80?
Oh, no, I
Oh,
think
no,
they
I'm
meant
not
half
talking
of the
about that.
23.
The
We're talking about the 23.
Okay, so you're on track to put
Uh-huh.
$21,000
Right,
into
okay.
reserves.
Mhm.
You can spend it now, get it spent by the end of the year, or then it'll just dump in with that 156.
Okay.
Yeah.
and-
So we still have time, really.
We have time.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we can answer these after we have a retreat,
Mhm.
which is where we're going to talk about what we want to do next year.
Mhm.
Good.
So I think this is kind of, it's a good guideline, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did a great guideline,
Yeah.
Cheryl.
Cheryl, good
What is
job.
your deadline for getting your?
So we present October 1st, so I need some figures here, I mean, you could do, I can carry over everything that you spent last year, so, I mean, budgeted in 19, so 65,000, I could just carry things over, and then we have till probably the end of October to move it around,
Mhm.
and then it's gonna get locked in. And then next year, if you decide not to do outside contract services at a certain amount, and you wanna move it to advertising, then yes, you just submit a budget request for me to move it around. And we can do that also, just don't overspend,
Yeah.
that's all.
Well, I guess then we just need, yes, that would be good for you to do, that is what I would say. Everybody else say that's the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we would need a motion for Cheryl to do that and to have this as the final copy to go
Okay,
ahead
well,
with.
hang on though, let's see where you are here.
She's not ready.
Okay, so by moving everything back over, you have 30,000 to play with. Did you want me to?
There you go, that's it.
That's
You're right,
what
Cheryl,
that's
you
it.
are.
I
You
knew
know, you
that's
have 30
what
bucks somewhere, wasn't right?
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, where do you want me to put that? Or do you wanna,
Can we put it in our next year's budget, that 30,000?
we can put it in any
Yeah,
line
and then we'll
items.
let's put it in next year's budget, and that way we'll have the 30,000 extra for whatever we decide we need.
Mm-hmm.
But what line item?
I don't know, I would suggest outside contract services.
How about miscellaneous
Or-
revenue?
Yeah, well,
No, it's
can't
gotta
put
be
it
an
in a
expense.
I do
Oh.
outside contract
Okay.
services,
outside contracts.
Outside
Yeah.
contracts, we
I
can
get
pull
what
from there.
you're after.
cause we have pulled from there.
We have.
I love it, Cheryl, when we understand each other.
She's looking for that 30.
Okay, now look, your budget, your balance, budget balance,
Okay,
okay?
awesome.
Sorry, I
Now-
didn't realize how you were gonna do
We
all
didn't
this.
either.
Okay,
So next time, Mom and prepare.
Good
So now
job.
you can make your motion.
Who would like to make a motion the way Cheryl just presented the budget?
I make a motion to accept this, what Cheryl presented to
The
us.
draft seconded.
To send it on.
Nancy seconded it, Jody?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Board retreat, where, when, and goals. Thank you,
That it?
thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl, that was
Welcome.
painless. Was it painless, Cheryl?
Now I know how to handle this, so next year watch, it's gonna
Yeah.
be a piece of cake.
It was a piece of.
It was a piece of cake, actually.
Okay, so, board retreat, anybody have any suggestions? Marty, do you have a suggestion that you would like to suggest to us?
I tried to contact Monument Lake. I thought maybe that would be a good place to go and we could support the lake and maybe get a discount on the rooms and it would be all great, but I never could hear back from Brian. I've called and left messages, I sent emails, I cannot get a response from Brian. So I don't, that was my only
Good luck, I've
suggestion.
been trying since last minute.
Is this a one-day retreat or?
2 day. Well, and that was what was presented at one point.
I
was a
think
2-day
Monument
retreat.
Lake's lovely, why don't Brian run?
I don't know,
Isn't
I'm just
he
gonna
a-
have to drive up to his house and say, hey,
Well, that's not,
But they're
that's not
closed.
acceptable.
Yeah, but aren't they closed now?
Yeah.
No, they were open, cause we
But
were.
they still operated year round, they should have at least answered the
he
phone.
they're-
actually
They're
No.
supposed to be closed, I think, at this point. in
They're
time.
closed.
Well, he
I think
opens
their
for
restaurant.
ice fishing and so forth, so I thought maybe we could
But
do
still,
something.
shouldn't he call back?
You would think.
You would think, especially Tom's been calling him since June.
I probably figure we better move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Anybody else got any ideas of places that you would like?
Let me make a suggestion if I might.
Uh-huh.
I can check, but I think that we could probably get you guys into using the house there at Fisher's Peak.
Oh, that would be really good. That
Oh.
would be inspirational for us.
That would be
Great, Mayor, that
inspirational.
would be
The
great.
to the guest house.
This would be the one as you go into the property there.
Yeah, that's a
The
great
headquarters.
place. Yeah,
Because there is a nice kind of living room.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be nice.
No, that's good. I think that would be great.
I didn't know we were actually.
So I would need to know what date that would be.
So that's your next
But we don't need to do it
decision,
overnight
is
now.
when do you wanna do this?
Okay, guys.
We don't need to do it overnight there, do we?
just
We
one
come
day.
home.
You wanna do it
Monday.
one day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we can
Okay.
just use it for the day and come home.
Yeah.
Boy. I would really like to go into the first week in November. I don't know how everybody
But
else
shouldn't we
feels.
discuss the budget in our retreat?
Mhm.
So it has to be sometime in October.
No, because if you have it in November, because I think that the budget
Is the end of October,
is,
she
well,
said.
that's going to be a presentation.
October 1st.
But then we actually finalize that in December?
November
November?
Yeah, so we need to do it before.
When in November? Do you know? Usually?
It'd be nice to get it done at no later than like the first meeting in December, but that's citywide budget, so.
So do you feel we should do this in October? And that way we have everything.
What I do.
I would if I were you.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. I mean, one day is,
What works, 21st?
No, the last 2 weeks I really have a lot going on. How about the 10th or the 17th? Anybody got like a Thursday, or which day works best for you?
any fine, or
Okay.
nine, how about you?
10th or 17th, I'll get killed, and yeah, Mark goes down.
Either's fine for me.
Either's fine.
10th or 17th, guys? 10th or 17th, Marty?
Well, if we do it on the tenth, it gives
10th
us
I will
an
be gone.
extra time.
Yeah, they have
rather-
another meeting.
yeah.
You'll be gone on the 10th?
I will be gone on the tenth.
Well, how about the 9th on Wednesday? That we
9th,
normally
I'm
have
fine.
it.
You are? Okay,
Ninth works?
9th?
Right.
9th works?
yeah.
So let me check to see if that's, yeah, I think it probably will be.
No, we just-
What time?
Let's do 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
That way we can handle our business a little bit. Is that okay with everybody?
Mhm.
Is that October or November?
October 9th, Wednesday.
Okay, I'll check to make sure that's. Okay.
And, the trolley season numbers?
May, we had 212 passengers. June, we had 870 passengers. August, we had 635. July, we had 549. Wait, I should have said July before August, but anyway, July 549, August 635, and then our weekend, pilot program, we had 83 passengers in 3 weekends.
And, why do you think June was so much more than July?
Everybody's fresh to get out there.
I don't know. We
Big
just
rush
had
to-
more-
for-
I just wonder, was there a
for-
festival or anything that was going on that seemed to
No,
have?
I think it was vacation time started and boom.
And they hit it.
They hit it.
Those were our biggest numbers at the Welcome Center as well.
Mhm.
In
We
June?
had big, yeah, our high, more visitors in June than we had in July.
Has the visitors grown from this year as opposed to last year in the welcome center?
Yes, we had over 1,500 visitors this year at the Welcome Center versus last year.
Which was about how many, Marty? Approximately.
Still only about 4,000 in a month. Some of those other visitor centers are,
Okay. And
their
then,
numbers are huge.
and then the Chronicle News?
Chronicle News, I put back on for Nancy's, she asked for
Okay,
that, so
good.
I don't know where we're going
Well,
with that.
I also wondered about the trolley season, if there is a way that we can extend it through the end of the year for the holidays.
We do run it in December, don't we?
We do it for the lighting
Yeah.
But that's,
contest.
but I was thinking, not just for that.
You know, what Nancy's saying is really a good idea, especially for Thanksgiving Day weekend. We are sold out in the hotels here. We've got grandkids and everybody else staying in hotels. If we could advertise the trolley and have them come down.
Well, it is the color season, and we see, I don't know about Joey, but we see a different pack of tourists come through. These are now childless people, grandparents, parents
Mhm.
that don't have little kids. So the tourist season is now changing, or the demographic of the tourist is changing. They're coming in a more relaxed way and they're lingering. So I was thinking, is there a reason other than salary and gasoline that we couldn't run the trolley through the end of the year?
All 3 of our drivers are also bus drivers, and so they are committed to their school jobs, their bus
Do you
driving
get any
jobs.
requests now?
I do, off and on,
No.
yeah, when do
Probably
you trolley run?
return visitors asking.
You know, I don't get into it as to, what, you know, I don't do a survey. It's like, who are you, where are you from, and have you been
Yeah.
here before, and have you ever ridden? I don't do that, but yes, we do get calls every now and then that say, you know, when did your trolley run? But right now, we don't have a driver that's
So in other words,
available
we
to
would
run
have
the
to
trolley on a
hire, we
regular
would have
basis,
to
like
hire
we
another
usually do.
driver to do that.
That's too bad.
Well, is there any chance that we could put an ad out to look for a driver? If you want to, what do you guys think? There may be a retired driver that wants to come back out again.
What
What do you
would
guys
we
think?
run this, would we run this 5 days a week, 7 days a week, or?
That is entirely up
Weekends
to you.
probably.
You would also
I
have
would
to
just
look
say
at the costs
weekend.
included.
Where, weekend?
Well, maybe like Thursday through Monday. That's what we see as the biggest tourist,
If you did run it on the weekends, you'd probably get one of the other bus drivers to take the weekends, wouldn't you?
Well, maybe one
Possibly.
day.
Yeah.
well, the driver also needs to have some history of Trinidad and,
Yeah.
So somebody will have to crunch the numbers to find out what additional cost this is gonna throw into your expenses on your budget.
Or what do they work, 8 hours a day?
However you wanna run it, if you wanna run it,
I wouldn't run it
you know,
Well, they,
I would run
from
it
10
from-
to 5 is 7.
I would go from 11 to maybe 3.
Has Ryan Rees contacted you guys about, cause I know Frank Azar's golf tournament's this weekend.
Yeah, it is,
Or have they contacted you about maybe using that trolley for all them golfers? I mean, it's, you
Just-
know, the city owns the golf course, I mean, he does a lot for this weekend, and, you know, I know he spends a lot of money, but,
Well, even if you ran it from there to the restaurants.
to the restaurants, I mean, they're, to wherever, but I know that they're in town this weekend from Friday through Sunday. I don't know if he's contacted you or who, it's,
I don't have any trolley tours scheduled.
Anarco, isn't it, up there at the golf
Jeff.
course? Jeff?
I guess with the few weekends that we ran it and we had 83 people, how many of those people were in the morning and how many of those people were at night?
Those were all at night.
Those were all at night.
We
We just did it
did
at night, yeah.
That was from the motels to the restaurants down.
That was that evening.
So then maybe it would be like from 5 to 10 at the hotels in downtown. So that's 5 hours, $75 a day, 3 days a week, $225, $1,000 a month.
so the bus drivers are finished driving the after-school drive at what time?
Around 4:30
Yeah,
by the
see,
time
they
they
might
get their
wanna do that night
buses back
drive.
into the bus
Or-
barn and
Yeah, or
do all their
the weekends.
inspections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if one of them wanted to do Friday, one of them wanted to do Saturday, and one of them wanted to do Sunday, maybe.
Yeah,
Well, and I know, Shelley has already taken another job, cause she didn't think she was gonna be driving the trolley, so she has a second job working at the golf
Golf
course.
course, yeah, Saturday.
And so,
but still, she might
And-
wanna do it at night, if we do it at night.
She
No,
did,
Shelley.
she did, you gotta admire that girl, she
You-
worked so hard.
she might wanna do it at
She's got
night.
her lift thing too going.
Yeah, she does.
Okay, yeah.
She does. And
Well, would you
have
mind
to-
talking to the drivers and see what they think?
we have to, also look at one of our other drivers might have reached his,
Social security number
no,
Oh.
his ability to drive
at night?
under certain conditions, yes.
Okay.
We had some problems with one of the drivers dinged up the trolley a little bit and he wasn't actually aware that he had done it, so.
Oh.
I
I
think
can remember.
one of our drivers
At
needs to
UPS.
retire.
At
I
Bless
think
his
then,
heart.
then maybe we need to put a little thing out.
At
that we could get
UPS,
a
you're
driver.
fired automatically, you don't have a job anymore.
Well, that's not a bad idea. I know that they need to be run through and learned historically, but I think you're right. We're probably up for putting out a thing to see if somebody else wants to, and then we'd teach him or her in history. But we're probably at that stage if
Yeah, we might be
one
at
of
that
them's
stage
heard and-
to advertise
yeah.
to get someone to,
Okay,
you know.
okay, so your proposal then is driving the trolley, on Thursdays through Mondays from 11 to 3?
Yes.
No, we talked about nighttime. We
Just
talked about
nighttime.
like 6 to 10 or something,
6 to
right?
10.
Cause they all came at night though, right? You said the people came at night. They
Yeah, that was the
all-
6 to
okay.
10.
I think,
Yeah.
Do you want
But-
expanded hours? I don't know.
But then.
I don't think Thursday would be a day, I think we would go through the weekend from Friday.
Yeah, I mean, if we're
Friday,
skinning
Saturday,
on
Sunday.
drivers who don't have a good
So maybe,
source there.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday probably be,
But I still think Monday.
Oh, you guys.
On Monday.
Well,
Mondays
Monday's-
are my busiest days.
Monday is, but that's the day, is hard because the bus drivers are all driving school
They're
buses
school
then,
buses,
so for
so.
sure we have to pick somebody else also.
But Monday would be during the day, so I wouldn't say Monday night, so I'm gonna say Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
and Sunday and call it.
Okay.
Yeah, because
For
they
right
leave
now.
Monday, they leave Monday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 6 to 10, so I'll figure out how much additional cost that would be, and you want to begin that when?
And I'm gonna add something before we finish this, is because of the time of the year and it starts to get dark out, I do think we should have from 5 to 10. it starts to get dark out, people shop, we wanna bring them downtown to eat like we did in the summertime, but we still want them to hit the shops at 5 o'clock. So, if people stay open when they have the,
Are we
you know-
gonna start this now, or are we just gonna do this? It's starting at Thanksgiving and go for Thanksgiving in
Well,
December.
I think we
Holidays?
should start by October, the first of October.
I agree.
Cause you have to get people, it takes so long to get the hotels used to talking about it at their front desk, you know?
I think you could get a pretty good idea of how much it's gonna cost off of what we did for those
yeah.
weekends, so I think if we just stick with them.
I think if we even just limp along in trying to do it for the fall season, it helps us get ready for next year.
We had a really good idea, didn't we?
It's given it a chance for each season
Yeah.
to kinda see how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's.
I have a suggestion.
What?
Spend some of that reserve money.
And for what?
Well, Joey had the best suggestion is
Well,
I still think the best thing we should do is not even
Buy
use
a
a trolley,
shuttle.
we should buy a shuttle and have
A
the shuttle
smaller
run
shuttle.
all year long. I mean,
Yeah, like, what are the kind of
That's a
vehicles?
van.
eight-man shuttle,
And
Well,
then,
that'll
or a
come-
van.
and then it's available for the city.
All year,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
anybody could use it, city could use it, we have it there, a
And
nice van.
you logo it up or do a wrap on it and, you know,
Because
you
even when
promote
we
Trinidad
ran
all
it
the
at
time.
night, we could still fill an 18-passenger van very easy.
Marty, a new vehicle for you to drive
A
around.
a vehicle.
Oh, another job. Put my trolley drive, my shuttle driver.
I'm just
hat
saying,
on.
we're just saying, you know.
No, but that would take place on our budget, let's talk about that, Joey,
Okay.
let's put that on the
We'll
budget.
put that on the next agenda.
Cause really, we wanna get away from the trolley. I mean, the
Oh,
trolley is great, but you can't take it in a lot of different places in Trinidad. It's so big, it's so
Well,
much
it's-
easier to have a smaller
it's-
shuttle.
Well, if we're using on smaller runs like we're doing, the auto season or something, it might be a good idea.
It would be
you know.
perfect for the motel room
Mhm.
because it's not as big.
It's not as big and they could get around quicker and make maybe more trips back and
But
forth.
the one big thing about it is it gonna have to be handicap accessible?
Oh, they
Yeah.
are, they
Yeah.
are.
That's where the cost is gonna be, is if it's gonna be have to be a handicap accessible.
Yeah.
Just like that, it is gonna drive the
Mhm.
cost up.
And so maybe for that to be on our,
Work session agenda?
no, our.
Retreat.
Retreat, thank you, Nancy,
Mhm.
our retreat. But before then, maybe you could find out from Walt Bolden what the COG vehicle that has got all the ADA and everything else.
So does the
is.
city pay any money to them at all?
To COG?
To COG?
Do we give them,
Do we budget for them?
Yeah.
It's like 13,000.
Oh, it's not much. I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, we can't, I mean, if the city was giving them money, then we could probably set up something with them to do this.
And
but
we've
if they're
tried
not gonna let
to,
them-
we've sat with them
Even
before.
if we partnered with them in a
Mhm.
sense for a van.
Mhm.
But one of the problems that goes along with that, because we sat with Walt a couple times in a couple of years, and one of the problems with that is the way he receives his grants to operate. So he only gets 13 from the city, but he gets a whole bunch of money from the state to operate, but it's not to operate our tourism, it's to help either medical or take people around or other things, and so that's why he had problems merging with us, because at one point we were trying to set up the short van and the long van, like he would do the short areas that were hard and then like actually have bus stops around town.
Mhm.
But he couldn't end up doing it because something to do with the grant, the way he receives money, so let's just find out what they cost and see if we can buy one and see how they.
Maybe they have a used van for sale.
Exactly, that's, when we bought the better trolley years ago, 18 years ago, we just bought a better trolley than the one we had, we didn't buy a new one, and so maybe that's part of what we do too.
It's just better not to buy somebody else's problem. I say new.
Okay,
Okay, so do you want me to move forward then with advertising for a driver and checking on costs for the running the trolley and starting that ball rolling or
Yeah.
not?
Well, for the Times Morning, maybe you should check with the drivers that you have, if they would be willing to do the Friday and Saturday.
Okay,
And then if not, then we move to look for a driver.
got it.
But
That-
you still needed
It's a good
maybe a
point.
driver, because one might be retiring, you said. Okay.
and share,
So we,
But,
And Shelley's
but still, I would check with the,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
the drivers
just
first.
just a bunch of,
You
All
handle it, Marty.
Got it.
okay, we trust you. Okay,
Oh, the
Chronicle News,
Yeah, we talked about the Chronicle News, managing our, basically promotions and, events and whatnot on our Facebook page. did they, and we voted on it, we voted on how to pay them.
Or you were gonna meet with them? As
So
to
my
negotiate
understanding that
a
RFP
price,
We-
to negotiate a price under the.
You're right, in their contract.
Right, it's still my understanding that we have to submit, we have to, do an RFP.
We talked about how to break it down into quarterly.
into quarters to just try them for the first
Also,
quarter.
we wouldn't have to do an
Yeah,
RFP.
and
Right.
see how it works out. We thought we'd try them for the first quarter of the year and see if it works out good. That way we
Okay,
wouldn't
I
make
dropped
them
the
feel
ball on
bad.
that because I didn't
That's
do
okay.
anything with it, sorry.
It's okay, we did talk it a lot. So, yeah, we just wanna see if it works out for them and works out for us without feeling like you get a year contract and it's not a good deal. And if it works out good, we'll go to city council, I'm cool with that.
I mean, I think we have to get on our Facebook page under control, if that's through
Right.
Conklin or something. The bad thing about it is, like, if you go on this weekend, I probably had 50 people on the Artocade. Is it at 11? Is it at 12?
Right.
Is it,
Right. We
nobody
did-
knew what
we
time the
did-
Yeah,
parade
because
Hotel too.
Arcade's theme said the parade opened from 11 to 6 or 5, and then down on the same page, it said the parade at 12. So, but the first theme people saw was at 11 to 6. That wasn't anybody's fault except Arcade. That's the way they did their advertising, because it did say 11 to 6, because I did the same thing. No one knew when the parade was gonna
Yeah.
start.
But I do agree, we have to get that Facebook.
We have to get
page
that,
out.
Yeah.
Because
And they
it's-
have all the
it-
pictures, they have all the events, they have,
And all
they
the,
are,
all the
right.
information that they
Right,
need
right,
is
right.
right there.
Every week, I mean, we should be updating, and, I mean, if we're giving all these people grant money, we should be the front and center of controlling all of it.
Right,
I mean, cause that's
So-
a big mistake, I think, you know, if they're saying it's at 11 and then the parade's at 12, I mean, we had a lot of people in front
I
of our
had
place that
people
was, they were
sitting
mad, I mean,
outside
it's
my
too
door
hot.
at 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's
and
way
I-
too
So
hot.
people
That was
who
way
touched
too
it so
hot.
upset too.
Yeah.
My kids were
Well,
all in the-
so anyway.
Yes, it's too hot.
So anyway, so yes, Marty, move forward.
Marty,
I'm on it.
you're on it.
And actually, I'll bring my phone over there for them too, how you and I played with it, to see if there's any way, and see if they can play with it since they know that.
Have we called Facebook just to see if we could get a password changed?
Yeah,
What'd they
will-
say?
Yeah, no, we
Nothing?
wrote letters a
Nothing?
year ago.
I've done everything, I've done everything, I've actually gotten on Tara's computer and tried to access it.
Is there anybody that's an administrator besides Tara, that was Tara? Cause if it was, you could link it together and then
No.
you can access
Hayden
it.
can't get in there and do that?
I've had Hayden with me, I've had Audra with me, I've had Cy with me, I've tried everything.
Have we sent an email to Tara, like, hey Tara,
Yeah,
do
she
you know the
doesn't
password?
remember, and she says, yeah, she did have, but she doesn't remember the
I
password.
even used Tara's
Does she know the last
passwords to
10
try.
passwords maybe? She
Yeah.
can try?
It's
I know.
time, it's
Well, then
time,
let's
it's
move
time
on.
to move
Okay,
on.
let's move on,
Okay,
okay?
And it's been a whole year without it.
anything else or
Meeting
motion to
adjourned.
adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
I
all in
said,
favor? Thank you, Mayor, for coming today, thank you, ladies, for coming today.